Today, I'd like to talk about habits. Habits are the foundation of our daily routines and behaviors, shaping our lives in profound ways. Whether it's hitting the snooze button in the morning, reaching for unhealthy snacks, procrastinating on tasks, or consistently exercising, our small habits have a remarkable impact on our results. But why do some habits stick, while others seem impossible to change? Find the answers to this big question. I sought them from one of the most well-received authors to ever write about habits presently. In this video, come join me as I talk about the science behind habits that I've learned from one of the best books that I've ever read to date, Atomic Habits by James Clear. I'll be discussing this into two parts, fundamentals and 4 laws of behavior change. Stick around to the end of the video where I'll show you how to apply this to build better habits. Without further ado, let's get to it. Starting off, we go to fundamentals. Why tiny changes make big differences. James slowly eases us in the power of atomic habits when properly executed. The fundamentals have 4 key steps: a 1% principle, a plateau of latent potential, forgetting goals, optimizing systems, and identity shifting. First step is 1% principle, where James introduces the concept of atomic habits, emphasizing that making small changes consistently can have a compounding effect over time and lead to long-term success. Shown on the graph, he states that improving or getting worse at 1% every day would evidently make a more noticeable change in the long term, where if we would decide to get better 1% every day for a whole year, we would be 37 times better than when we started. Conversely, if we got worse 1% every day for a year, we would decline nearly down to zero. The impact created by a change in your habits is similar to the effect of changing the route of an airplane by a few degrees. Imagine being on a plane, for example, flying from Los Angeles to New York City. If the pilot decides to adjust the heading 3.5 degrees south, you will land in Washington instead of New York. Such a small change at the start may seem unnoticeable. Once you complete the journey over the few hours, then you will see where these small changes will take you. James reminds us that time magnifies the margin between success and failure. It'll multiply whatever you feed it. Good habits make time your ally, while bad habits make time your enemy. Another fundamental topic James talks about is how progress looks in real life. Shown in this graph is what he calls the plateau of latent potential, where we expect progress to be straightforward, but in reality, progress would look skewed and temporarily we are stuck in what he calls the valley of disappointment, where we feel discouraged as we put in efforts for weeks or months without having any results showing for it. I came to realize that is a reality, that habits need to persist long enough to break through the plateau and, over time, give us amazing results. Like for example, if you're a skinny person like I was in high school and you want to build more muscle mass, going for a day out to the gym will not provide you with those results right away. It's by doing the habit of working out long enough that can break you through the plateau of where you are right now to where you want to be. Third step is forgetting goals, optimizing systems. Here James states that goals are about the results you want to achieve, while systems are the processes that lead to those results. He further emphasizes that we do not rise to the level of our goals, but we fall to the level of our systems. Further explain, let's hear it from the man himself.
And I don't mean that goals are useless. I think goals are actually quite useful for setting a sense of direction or knowing, what area the boat should be pointed in, what direction the boat should be pointed in, and where you're trying to row. But once you've decided that, it's probably more useful to put the goal on the shelf and focus exclusively on the system or the process. And in my language, habits make up the system, and they're like this collection of behaviors and patterns that you perform each day. And when you put them all together, you end up with this system that delivers a result. And whatever your results are in life or in business or wherever, your current system is perfectly designed to deliver them. It has to be, by definition. That's why you're getting those results. So if you want different results, what you need is not really a different goal. What you need is a different system.
He further reminds us the purpose of setting goals is to win the game. The purpose of building systems is to continue playing the game. My current standing as a YouTuber, I'd rather keep playing the game than to win it, as learning from the segment implies that true long-term change is not about any single accomplishment, but rather it's the commitment to continue refining my craft and make sure that I get better as time goes by. Fourth key step is identity is key. Behavior change has three layers: outcomes, which are about what you get, processes, which are about what you do, and identity, which is about what you believe. He explains that in building habits, the direction of change in these layers is the challenge. By default, we create outcome-based habits, which focuses on the goal being set, whereas the ideal alternative is building identity-based habits, where in this approach, we focus on who we wish to become. The key takeaway here is that a habit that is incongruent with the self will not last. Therefore, you should have both identity and habit to walk side by side in order to achieve true behavior change. If you are finding value in this video, please hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm, as will show this video to other self-productive enthusiasts such as yourself. It would really mean a lot to me. Thank you very much, and back to the video. James has probably convinced us that small habits bring about remarkable changes. But now you may wonder, how do we build habits in the first place? And what exactly is a habit? I initially thought that habits were just actions that repeat on the day-to-day, eventually becoming a routine. But after I read this book, I realized that it was just the tip of the iceberg. James defines a habit as a system of cues, cravings, responses, and rewards that influence our behaviors. He explains that habits are not just actions, but a series of steps that our brain goes through, forming a feedback loop that repeats over time. Through this concept, it has led to the 4 laws of behavior change, where the first law is make it obvious. This involves making the cue of our desired habits to be visible and easy to notice. What stuck with me in the first law are these 2 effective strategies. First is habit stacking, which involves linking new habits to existing ones. By putting a new habit on top of an existing one, you can take advantage of the existing habit's cue and increase the chances of the new habit sticking. The second strategy is environment optimization, which is making the cues around our environment more obvious. I've applied this strategy when I wanted to become a healthier person. So I decided that I want to drink more water. I've come to realize that I've only been drinking under 1 liter a day, and I noticed this because water was away from where I was sitting. That's why I committed keeping a water bottle close by and conditioned myself that whenever I take a break from finishing whatever I was doing at the time, I should drink some water. So far, I usually finish nearly 2 bottles of 1.5 liters through this small habit without even thinking about it. As James said, every habit is initiated by a cue. We are more likely to notice a cue that stands out. Then comes the second law, make it attractive. This involves finding ways to make our cravings for a desired habit both enjoyable and appealing. There is a strategy mentioned in this law, which is called temptation bundling. This works by linking an action you want to do with an action that you need to do. I tried this out earlier today. After drinking my coffee, I will work out for an hour. Since after I work out, I will reward myself with an hour of playing Tekken 7. By framing my habits this way, it made me look forward to working out because after that, I know that I'll be able to play my PS5. Moving on to the third law, which is make it easy. This involves reducing barriers and simplifying the processes to doing our desired habits. I personally like the strategy called the 2-minute rule, which works by making any habit as easy as possible, where you break the habit down into an action that can be done in 2 minutes or less. For example, the habit of reading. If you have a goal of reading a whole book, haven't established this habit yet, one good way to start is by reading a page every day, eventually increasing the number of pages read as the frequency of this habit increases. The main goal here is to establish a gateway habit, where it masters the atomic habit of showing up, which primes you to increase the repetition of the habit until you grow more accustomed to it. As James states, the truth about habits is that it needs to be established before it can be improved on. And last but not the least, the fourth law, make it satisfying. This involves rewarding ourselves after completing our desired habit. In this law, it is emphasized that we do immediate gratification to increase the rate of a behavior. To further demonstrate this, here is a scene from one of my most favorite sitcoms of all time.
Oh, sorry, Sheldon. I almost sat in your spot.
Did you? I didn't notice. Have a chocolate. You're here a lot now.
Oh, am I talking too much? I'm sorry. Zip.
Thank you. Chocolate?
Yes, please. Hey, Kim. Yeah, You know what? Hold on. Let me take this in the hall.
You're using chocolates as positive reinforcement for what you consider correct behavior.
Very good. Chocolate?
No, I don't want
Lastly, he summarizes the 4 laws of behavior change, where behavior would be effortless is when you make them obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying, while on the other hand, behavior would be difficult if you did the opposite. More on that on the next video. The lesson I've learned today is that I'm glad to have learned and redefined my meaning to the word habit. Leave a comment below for what key takeaway have you learned today. Through understanding the underlying mechanics of habits, applying the 4 laws of behavior change, and leveraging the strategies James has mentioned in his book, we can make significant improvements in our habits, build better systems, and ultimately transform our lives. I've mentioned many quotes from James today, but I think this one is my favorite. The secret to getting results that last is to never stop making improvements. This further encapsulates that, like life, atomic habits move forward in order for us to achieve small wins that compound into remarkable results. Once again, this was Atomic Habits by James Clear. Thanks for watching. See you again next time.
Yeah, I'll keep you safe. I'll never let you go. I'll never let you go.